Today we're going to talk about all the biggest things you can get in Phase 1. Now this isn't just items, there's some mounts included as well, but we're going to go in order. We're going to look at things that you shouldn't miss from quests, mounts, dungeon items, and finally raid items. Some of these items will be notable for their own strengths, some notable because of their influence in later phases or their relative strength to other items that are available. So just starting with a couple of quests, and it is only a couple of quests, but when you first arrive in Icecrown and you start doing the first quest hub there, you'll eventually lead up to the final part of a series, which is called the Last Line of Defense. The rewards from the Last Line of Defense is Cannoneer's Fuse Lighter, Cannoneer's Morale, or Fezzik's Pocket Watch. Now, all three of these trinkets are actually quite strong. They're 174 item level. For pre-level 80 trinkets that take a minimal amount of time to obtain, they are all strong options for sort of pre-heroic gear, and they hold their own versus some of the lesser heroic trinkets as well. If I didn't talk about the new Ring of Blood called Amphitheatre of Anguish in Zoldrak, I'd be doing something wrong. So basically everybody gets a weapon from this place, and yes, you need a group, but it's not hard. You've got the Icy Barbed Spear, Deraged War Axe, Chilly Slobber Knocker, Sprue Sprung Fixer Upper, you get the point. Basically everybody has got something that they can get from this quest, and you absolutely should do it. Now there's one that a lot of people forget about, where you can actually get a staff called Staff of the Sorrowful Chieftain, Hammer of Quiet Mourning, Crescent of Brooding Fury, or Sword of Heart-Wrenching Slaughter. Now, while there's not a weapon for everybody here, and it is mainly just one-handed weapons or a nice staff for, let's say, a hunter or a feral druid, it doesn't require a massive group. In fact, I soloed it at the appropriate level on a paladin, and I soloed it as an appropriate level feral druid as well. So you don't really need a group for this, but if you can get one other person, it will make it more comfortable with two. These are exactly the same eye level as the weapons from Amphitheatre of Anguish. So if for some reason you struggle getting a full group for Amphitheatre, you can always try and grab one of these weapons if it's something that you can use. Essence of Gossamer is a tank trinket from Asjol Nero. It offers high amounts of stamina and a strong amount of mitigation on proc, and it's heavily used for boosting. Now, we know boosting isn't going to be the same as it once was, but actually, for any tank, and there's even certain farms that rogues are doing at the moment, or even rep paladins, where this is super useful just for the damage reduction. Using this as a prop paladin, I've literally been able to one pull BRD, which is pretty mental. It's a great trinket, and most people that can make any use of it whatsoever are going to want it. Royal Crest of Lordaeron is a tank shield from Cullinger Stratholme. It's a big early tanking shield, only really matched by the Titan Steel Shield Wall. The Titan Steel Shield Wall will give a little bit more defense, but with the Royal Crest of Lordaeron, you're going to get it for free, and you're not going to have to pay thousands of gold for it, and it trades off some defense rating for hit rating, more stamina, and more strength. Hemorrhaging Circle is a DPS ring from Gundrak, used by almost every melee class pre-raid. It's a great source of expertise rating, which every melee is going to want early on, and decent amount of attack power, agility, and stamina. The Colossal Skull-Clad Cleaver comes from Halls of Lightning from the last boss on Heroic. It's a two-handed DPS weapon comparable to the Titan Steel Destroyer, but it's free. It lacks the hit, and it's got some haste. It's also got more agility, less strength. You know, it's trading off some stats, but the actual DPS of the weapon is identical, as is the speed, and as is the top end damage and the minimum damage. So if you can make use of it, definitely worth grabbing, because as I say, it's going to save you gold or cooldowns or whatever on making a Titan Steel Destroyer. Librarian's Paper Cutter is only a blue dagger. It's a trash drop from Halls of Lightning, but it's got incredible speed, and most assassination rogues are going to want to get hold of these pretty quickly. Sorry, saying quickly wasn't actually a pun. Forge Ember is a trinket that drops from Halls of Stone. Very highly sought after because of its stats and a proc for casters, giving you 73 crit rating, and your damage and healing spells having a chance to increase your spell power by 512. So for any crit orientated casters, it's an absolute banging trinket. Another trinket that comes from exactly the same place. So Halls of Stone drops Spark of Life, which increases your haste rating by 73, and each time you cast a damage or healing spell, there's a chance that you'll gain 220 MP5 every 5 seconds for 15 seconds. So it's an incredibly powerful trinket, and due to the lack of haste on most trinkets at entry level in Wrath of the Lich King, any healer that can benefit from that haste rating, such as a Resto Druid, is definitely going to be wanting it. Sphere of the Red Dragon's Blood is a trinket that drops from the last boss in Nexus Heroic with hit rating and an on-use attack power. It's a very strong trinket for almost every melee early on, just because you're getting that big attack power bonus that you can use when you want it. So line it up with your cooldowns, and you're getting the hit rating. Red Sword of Courage is likely to be the best weapon for both warriors warriors and paladin tanks pre-raid. With defense rating, hit rating, nice amount of strength and stamina, 1.6 speed, there isn't going to be much that you can get better than this early on. Meteorite whetstone's worth a mention because there's certain melee DPS that really like the haste. So this drops from Utgard Pinnacle and gives you a nice amount of crit and chance to get a nice amount of haste, being 444, which is 13.5% haste at level 80. And finally, Mark of the War Prisoner, which basically every caster is going to want early on because getting hit rating as a caster is always a bit of a nightmare. This comes from the final boss in Violet Hold Heroic with a nice amount of hit and on-use spell damage. You're going to see a lot of people fighting for this because really, until you get into raids, this is the best you're going to get. Then for some raid items, you've got Majestic Dragon Figurine, which is a healing trinket, which is really good for Priest and Resto Druids. This only comes from OS 10. You've got Fury of the 5 Flights, which is a stacking attack power trinket from OS 25, which everybody who uses attack power is going to fight over. You've got Illustration of the Dragon Soul, which is exactly the same as that, but stacking spell damage instead. Again, a lot of your casters are going to be arguing over this one. You've got Headpiece of Reconciliation, which is one of the only available 226 pieces in Phase 1 with Int, Spirit, Haste, and Spell Power. The same goes for Obsidian Great Helm with Strength, Crit, and Expertise on this plate helmet. Pennant Cloak is one that a lot of people are going to want. There's going to be a hell of a lot of competition on this because, yes, it is a 226 cape, so again, the highest eye level that you can achieve on a cape in Phase 1 with Int, Crit, Haste, and Spell Power. And another huge item would be Unsullied Cuffs, which come from Sarfarian again with Spell Power, Haste, a red socket, Spirit, Intellect, absolutely amazing bracers, and as I say, they're 226 eye level as well. Leggings of the Honoured are again worth a mention because they're the only 226 legs that you're going to be able to get if you're an agility-based user with agility, haste, hit, and attack power. Black Ice is just epic looking. It's a great polearm for ferals or hunters. It's not the greatest weapon that you're going to use in Phase 1, but I just wanted to mention it because it looks great. Surge Needle Ring's a BOE ring, which is pretty much needed by every single attack power user in Phase 1, and it is BOE. It's going to sell for a lot. Any of these items that drop from EOE 25, they're all 226 items, and the vast majority of them are absolute biss in Phase 1 for one class or another. Embrace of the Spider, to say it only comes from 10-man content, will be quite a sought-after item. Armageddon, again, more for looks than anything else because it is one of the largest weapon models in the game, so it's both popular and strong for strength users. Betrayer of Humanity will cause quite a lot of arguments because it is quite literally the BIS 226 weapon for multiple two-handed melee. Possibly my favourite looking weapon in the game. I actually do not think there's another transmog weapon that I use even on my monk on retail. Calamity's Grasp absolutely looks amazing and it's brilliant if you're a combat rogue, and because you'll likely transition into combat in Ulduar, you might as well get this now. All of these trinkets are strong for somebody. Dying Curse is going to cause arguments amongst your casters because getting that hit and that massive amount of spell power, everybody's going to want it. Will your Demonology Warlock get it first? More than likely, because at least the spell power he's going to gain is going to benefit the raid, but everybody's going to want it. Grim Toll, ironically, is not a particularly strong trinket in Nax. However, it's extremely good going into Ulduar for some armor pen procs once you can start getting more armor pen from gear. Forefort Talisman, again, your healers, they're just going to want it. The KT loot in general, to be fair, is absolutely amazing, with Journey's End being BIS for ferals and hunters, Last Laugh being amazing for proc warriors and paladins, again, Wall of Terror being absolute BIS for proc warriors and paladins again. The Turning Tide is a BIS sword for pretty much every caster. Sinister Revenge is very nice. Wraith Strike is definitely worth a mention. It's usable by boomies and ellies, however it's BIS for spell-enhanced shamans. Voice of Reason is an absolutely amazing caster shield. If you as a rogue are wanting a nice quick dagger, Web Death is absolutely amazing as well, and this is only from Anabarak. And the capes and off-pieces from Nax 25 from Kel'Thuzad, they're all 226 eye level and definitely worth a mention. That's all the items. Let's quickly show off just some of the cool mounts to look forward to as well. You got Reigns of the Grand Black War Mammoth, which just drops in VOA. Only one drops though, so good luck. And it doesn't necessarily have to drop, you know what I mean? So double good luck. You got the Chopper for the Alliance or the Meccano Hog for the Horde. Reigns of the Blue Proto Drake, which is a rare drop from Scottejaye in Utgard Pinnacle. Reigns of the Time Lost Proto Drake, which is going to be heavily farmed because it's just a drop from a rare Time Lost Proto Drake in Storm Peaks. Reigns of the Green Proto Drake, which actually comes from a mysterious egg, which you get once you get the reputation with the Oracles. there in Sholazar Basin. Reigns of the Black Warbear's quite a nice one for killing all of the opposing faction leaders. Reigns of the Red Proto-Drake for completing the Glory of the Hero dungeon meta achievement. I might as well mention Reigns of the Bronze Drake, but come on, from culling a strat time run, everybody's going to have this. It's not cool. And then you can get Reigns of a Black Drake or Reigns of a Twilight Drake. This is from doing OS 10 free Drakes. 10 free Drakes gives you the Black Drake, and 25 free Drakes gives you the Twilight Drake, as well as achievements and stuff. But that's it. I think they're all the cool items, the things that you've got to look forward to in Phase 1. So I know it weren't like super in-depth on who should be using what or anything like that. That weren't the point of the video. It was just to highlight some of the key items that are coming. Be sure to like and subscribe. Check out Rested XP in the pinned comment and the description, and roll the outro.
There's lots of ways you can support the channel to keep me here putting out World of Warcraft content and covering all future MMOs. Consider joining the channel as a member. You get access to emotes. Everyone will know you're a member when you comment on future videos because you get a nice icon next to your name. And you get access to members-only videos, which I'll be putting a lot of on the channel throughout the year. Additionally, there's a Patreon link in the description as well. Thank you for watching all the way to the end, and I'll see you on the next one.